back to our last edition of Inside the 261 for the 24-25 school year. We are excited to be focusing on the students who made it all happen.
Yeah, I tell you what, we have a great group of guests today that are going to be on our show. Just a brief history, we approached Mrs. Fairbanks, I think it was back in October, about doing this show, and she graciously accepted and said, yeah, we would love to do it, and I've got just the team to take care of that. And so all the shows that you have seen this year have been edited, filmed, recorded, the whole process by students. And they have done a great job in producing a wonderful show that highlights our school district and the many wonderful things that are going on. And today we want to highlight them and talk a little bit about their role in Inside the 261.
Absolutely. We are excited for you to meet them all, so let's get started. We're starting off today with Grayson Brugada, who's an 8th grader here, and he's been a real leader in this process. So welcome, Grayson.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Well, Grayson, welcome. And we're glad to have you here today. We're used to seeing you on the other side of the camera,
yeah.
But today you get to be one of our guests. We're excited to have you. So we talked just briefly about the process, and we approached Miss Fairbanks back in the fall and asked if this is something that she could do and her students would be interested in. And she said, absolutely. We have the perfect team to do that. So when she approached you about this position and running the show, how did you and your team work to create a vision for Inside the 261?
Well, when we first heard the news, we kind of, for the next couple days, kind of brainstormed ideas of what we wanted the show to look like. You know, we all kind of voted on different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we voted on like the background, the intro, the music, the kind of setting we were going for, if you wanted to be serious or more calm, which is why we set it up with these sofa chairs instead of like more formal chairs, like so.
So after you, as a team, brainstormed, came up with a plan, voted on it, and then implemented, have you made any changes to your initial plan that you all voted on before you had your first show?
Not much, you know. Before we were even like going to start the recording, we all had a pretty good idea of we wanted a black background, comfy, nice chairs, and just, you know, a nice setting where it's not, you know, too like playful but not like completely serious.
Yeah. Well, it is a great setup for us and a great stage, and you all have done a really nice job of creating it.
Thank you.
I really like how you involved everybody in the decisions, Grayson. That's fantastic. I'm sure there's been some challenges along the way. What challenges have you faced and how did you handle them?
Well, back when we were deciding, there was a lot of ideas that were thrown that I and others maybe thought weren't really gonna fit.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we all could come together and kind of come to a compromise and decide on the final show being a mix of everyone's ideas and thoughts. So I think it came out to be well.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
So Grayson, you've been a part of this from the beginning. From the time Miss Fairbanks met with you and your team and have worked all the way through our last show today. What have you learned through this process?
I learned a lot of the technical things of, you know, I've gotten to a point where I can pretty easily stop a recording, like do mic checks, like organize things. And I've learned about myself and that you can't really lead a project with so many people involved. Most like projects I've been in before, I've usually had like highest grades. I don't mean to sound like cocky or anything. I've had like highest grades, like most
Sure.
of it. So I wanted like the project to go the way I wanted because I thought I'd be the best fit as the leader. But just because like you have better grades or you think you're smarter than someone, you can't disregard their ideas of what they want to show. And if the show was exactly how I wanted it to be, I don't think it would be nearly as good as it would be with everyone involved and choosing what they wanted.
That is a great reflection. It's a great reflection on leadership and process, and that's the advantage of a class like this and the impact that it has on student learning. And great job, great answer.
So say, Grayson, there's a student at HWMS who wants to be part of the production. What advice would you give that student?
I would totally encourage them to do it. I think what I've learned, back to my reflection, is you need to understand that there are people with ideas that you will be working with that will be different from your ideas. So you have to understand that. I would totally recommend them to do it. It's a very fun, it's a good skill to have, I would say. Leadership, video production, you know.
Well, we are so glad it was such a great experience for you, Grayson. You are clearly an awesome leader. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Great work, Grayson.
Thank you for having me.
Next, we have 8th grader Briley Cotton. So welcome to this side of the camera, Briley.
Thank you.
Welcome, Briley. What has been your role inside the 261?
Well, I usually help around the set, or like I help make sure everything looks okay.
Okay. What advice would you give to students who want to be involved in video production?
I would say time management.
Oh.
When you have everything done and ready, it goes a lot smoother.
Was it a lot of planning involved as you talked about time management and meeting a deadline? Because we always wanted to get the shows out on a Friday, and you also recorded a lot of shows for HW on top of that. So was it hard to learn that skill?
Not if you pay attention. When you when you're learning how to use everything, make sure you pay attention, then it goes a lot easier.
Great advice.
So if a younger HWMS student came up to you, Briley, and they said, why should I be involved with Guerrilla TV? What would you tell them?
It's a good learning experience, and it is a lot of fun, and it's a nice way to express yourself and do stuff.
I'm so glad you all had fun because we had a great time.
Yes, we did. So you are moving on to high school next year, right? You nervous about that?
Kind of.
That's all right. You'll do great. When you get to high school, are you wanting to be involved in TV production and recording like you have been at HW?
Yeah, it's fun, so probably.
Great.
What would you say is your favorite part of doing Guerrilla TV?
Well, obviously I like going to filming stuff, but I like how close the class is. Like everybody gets along, and I think that's my favorite part.
We have definitely seen that you are all very close and very encouraging to each other, so that is great to see. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Briley. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today.
Next, we have the dynamic duo, Anna Pites and Emma Cleaver. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, Anna and Emma. It's glad to have you here today. So, what has been your role in the set design for Inside the 261?
So whenever you guys are recording, if something gets messed up, if something moves, or we need it to look a different way, we'll move it, and we might stop the show to make it look better, to make it look more like sophisticated, you know?
Right. So you two are the ones that make us look good. We owe you a huge thank you.
Can I add something to that, Penny, about
Sure.
looking good?
Sure.
I saw a picture of Penny and I that was drawn by some student here within this program, and just kind of curious how that all evolved, because that really looks nothing like me. I have more hair than you put on my picture. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think we are very good drawers.
I agree.
And I think we should include that in one of the pictures we show, because
Absolutely
those
right, yeah.
they're a lot of fun.
Great artwork.
So ladies, what has been your most favorite part of the production?
My favorite part of the production was probably the recording and being able to be behind the desk, recording it and counting you guys down until you guys were good.
Thank you.
So is this something, you're both 7th graders, correct?
Yes.
So next year be 8th graders, and do you plan to do this again next year?
Yes, I am in it first semester for next year, and I'm super excited because I love being a part of it.
Wonderful. And as you think about high school, is this something that you want to do in high school?
Hopefully, because it's awesome. It gives you a lot of like life skills, getting to work with people. So I hope I get to keep doing it in high school.
Tell me about working with your dad. You think, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, different things going through my mind.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, it's the last show. Let's get real on Inside the 261. We all know it's really about this guy right here, this gorilla. So ladies, what can you tell us about him?
So the gorilla is something that we do just for fun, and we hide him around the set so that you guys that are watching can find him and just have a good time while watching that, trying to find the gorilla. Sometimes we put him in the tree, sometimes we put him right here. This is probably his favorite nook, like on the table over there. We put him in lots of different spots.
He has been so much fun. We are glad he joined us too. And thank you ladies for joining us today.
Thank you. Great job.
Jeff, I'm so glad you asked me to help with Inside the 261 because it's been an awesome opportunity, but it could not have been possible without this amazing teacher, Stormy Fairbanks.
Thanks, Bailey.
Stormy, thank you first of all for not telling me no when I came over and asked you about doing the show. And my experience was from last year when I got an opportunity to come in and do an interview. Was super impressed with the level of work your kids were doing. Talk to me about this group and the growth you've seen and the changes you've seen in them from the start of the show until we wrap up this year.
Yeah, so shout out to Mackenzie Swain. She was the one that was interviewed you, so she was awesome. And so
Great interviewer.
Yeah, she was great. So leading into this fall semester, our first group, I knew that these kids could handle it because they are always up for a challenge and work together as a team. And so that group kind of set the way for this group, the second semester crew, to kind of take over and take the reins. And so they've done an amazing job, and I've seen them grow just as kids, you know, growing up and working as a team and leading each other and the technical skills that they get. So it's been awesome to watch. They're great. The whole group has been a great group for me to have.
And I've heard you say they're leaders in the school.
They are, yes, yeah. All the kids out in the hallways, they recognize them, and so they'll say hi to them and things like that. So yeah, it's been awesome.
That's cool.
If you had to pick your one favorite part, what would you choose?
Wow, favorite part is probably being able to sit back and watch, because I sit back and I smile and I laugh with them, and I like to just watch them and how they can do all of this kind of on their own. So I'm proud of all of them. They are amazing kids.
You've taught them well because they are a well-oiled machine.
They are, yes.
So for our launch today, we have a quote from Richard Branson, and it says, "You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing and by falling over." Thank you so much for watching Inside the 261 this year, and we'll see you next year on Inside the 261.
Have a great summer.
Everyone, I'm Schuckman, Director of the Learning Center, and I'm here with Jeff Hersh, Superintendent of Schools, and we're trying something new, aren't we, Jeff?
We are, Penny, and I'm ready for lunch. Hopefully we have something good coming.
Did we feed these kids?
Did
I
we
thought we were
feed
supposed
you?
to feed them pizza. Oh! Sorry, I was not ready. Can we do that again? I got to think about. Wow, Jeff, what an important and, oops, sorry guys. Wonderful program. We're so glad it's here.
Thank you.
So Penny, is this part of a national program, Parents as Teachers? I said Penny.
Yep.
So we'll stop that and do it again.
Sorry, I forgot I was first. We focused on our Parents as Teachers program, which is amazing. And they have a diaper pantry that does a great need for our district. Sorry guys, I got to do it again. Ladies, welcome to Inside the 261. What are you most excited to eat for Thanksgiving? Ham. Ham. I enjoy ham too. What about you?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. Are you gravy or no gravy?
Gravy.
Gravy.
100%.
Smart. She said ham. Would you please pay attention, Jason?
Inside the 261. Inside the 261. Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.